The Pentagon just revealed something that has aviation experts questioning everything they thought they knew about fighter jet capabilities. While everyone's been debating which modern fighter holds the speed crown, classified documents and insider reports paint a completely different picture. We're not talking about experimental prototypes or retired legends. We're talking about an operational fighter that's been secretly pushing boundaries nobody thought possible. The MiG-31 Foxhound just shattered expectations in ways that will leave you speechless. Welcome back, where we explore the incredible machines that dominate our skies. Today we're diving deep into the most misunderstood speed demon in aviation history. What you're about to discover will completely change how you think about supersonic flight and modern air combat. The MiG-31 isn't just fast, it's rewriting the rules of what's physically possible at extreme velocities. Defense analysts have been getting it wrong for decades. Everyone assumed they understood this aircraft's capabilities, but recent revelations from Russian aerospace engineers and declassified flight test data reveal performance figures that make even the most advanced Western fighters look slow by comparison. This isn't just about raw speed. It's about sustained supersonic performance that defies conventional engineering wisdom. If you're fascinated by aircraft that push the absolute limits of physics, type amazed in the comments below. Let us know you appreciate the engineering excellence that goes into these incredible machines, the birth of a speed monster. Let's go back to the 1970s when Soviet engineers faced an impossible challenge. American SR-71 Blackbirds were flying over Soviet territory at Mach 3+, completely untouchable by existing interceptors. The MiG-25 Foxbat could reach similar speeds, but only in short bursts that risked destroying the engines. Soviet air defense needed something better, something that could sustain high speeds while actually being combat effective. The MiG-31 program began with a radical concept. Instead of building another pure speed demon that sacrificed everything for velocity, Soviet designers would create an interceptor that combined sustained high-speed performance with advanced sensors and weapon systems. The result was an aircraft that military experts initially dismissed as impossible. Here's what makes the MiG-31 story so remarkable. This aircraft first flew in 1975, nearly 50 years ago. Yet, even today in 2025, it remains one of the fastest operational fighters in the world, with 128 active examples serving exclusively with the Russian Air Force. The Foxhound represents the pinnacle of Cold War interceptor technology that somehow remains relevant decades later. The speed specifications that changed everything. The official top speed for the MiG-31 Foxhound is listed as Mach 2.83. That translates to approximately 1,900 miles per hour or 3,000 kilometers per hour. To put that in perspective, you could fly from New York to Los Angeles in roughly 90 minutes at that speed. But raw numbers don't tell the full story of what makes this aircraft so extraordinary. Most fighter jets can achieve high speeds, but only for brief periods and only at high altitudes where the thin air reduces stress on the airframe. The MiG-31 was designed differently. This aircraft can maintain Mach 1.25 at sea level, something earlier interceptors simply couldn't accomplish. That's roughly 950 miles per hour while flying just above the ground where air resistance is enormous. Think about what that means operationally. Enemy aircraft trying to evade by flying low, a common tactic against high-altitude interceptors, find themselves still being run down by a MiG-31 that refuses to slow down regardless of altitude. It's like being chased by something that breaks all the normal rules of physics. The engineering breakthrough behind the speed, the secret to the MiG-31s. Incredible performance lies in its revolutionary Soloviev D30F6 turbofan engines. These aren't ordinary jet engines. Each one produces 34,000 pounds of thrust with afterburners engaged. That's enough power to accelerate this 90,000-pound aircraft to supersonic speeds in seconds. But raw power alone doesn't explain the MiG-31's capabilities. Soviet engineers solved problems that Western designers thought were unsolvable. The engines were designed to operate efficiently across an enormous range of speeds and altitudes. Most jet engines optimize for either high speed or fuel efficiency. The D30F6 manages both through variable geometry intake ramps that automatically adjust airflow based on flight conditions. The airframe itself represents another engineering marvel. While the MiG-25 used primarily stainless steel construction to handle extreme heat, the MiG-31 employs a more sophisticated mix of materials. Titanium in critical high-stress areas, aluminum alloys where weight savings matter most, and steel where heat resistance is essential. This careful material selection allowed the aircraft to sustain high speeds that would literally tear apart lesser designs. Speed records that stunned the aviation world. In 1977, just 2 years after the first flight, a MiG-31 prototype set an absolute altitude record by climbing to 123,520 feet. That's over 23 miles straight up. But the truly impressive achievement was how quickly it got there. The aircraft climbed at rates that Western observers initially thought were measurement errors. The same year, another MiG-31 set time-to-altitude records that still stand today. It reached 66,000 feet in just 4 minutes and 11 seconds. To understand how remarkable that is, consider that most commercial airliners cruise at around 35,000 feet. This fighter climbed to nearly double that altitude faster than you can make a cup of coffee. But here's where the story takes a shocking turn. During parliamentary hearings in 2013, the head of the Russian Aerospace Forces revealed something that stunned military analysts worldwide. The MiG-31's maximum speed had been deliberately reduced. Not because of engine limitations, but due to an unexpected problem with the cockpit glass. The glass ceiling nobody saw coming. Colonel General Alexander Zeland explained the situation in terms that seemed almost unbelievable. The theoretical Mach 2.3 that this plane was designed for had been limited to only Mach 1.5 for one simple reason. The glass couldn't handle the extreme speeds and temperatures involved. At supersonic speeds, friction with the air generates enormous heat. The faster you go, the hotter the aircraft's surfaces become. The MiG-31's cockpit glass was encountering temperatures and pressures that threatened structural integrity at speeds above Mach 1.5. Rather than risk catastrophic failure, Russian commanders imposed operational speed limits. This revelation sparked intense debate among aviation experts. If the glass was the limiting factor, what could the MiG-31 actually achieve with upgraded canopy materials? Some engineers suggest the aircraft might be capable of sustained speeds approaching Mach 3 with modern transparent ceramics or advanced composites. We may never know because Russia has apparently chosen not to pursue such modifications. Combat capabilities beyond pure speed. The MiG-31 Foxhound isn't just about going fast in a straight line. This aircraft was designed as a complete weapon system optimized for intercepting high-speed, high-altitude targets across vast distances. The Zaslon M phased array radar can track up to 10 targets simultaneously while engaging 4 at once. When it was introduced, this was the most powerful fighter radar in the world. The weapon's loadout reflects the aircraft's interceptor mission. The primary armament consists of R-33 long-range air-to-air missiles, enormous weapons designed to destroy targets at ranges exceeding 100 miles. These missiles were specifically developed to counter American bombers and cruise missiles, giving the MiG-31 reach that few fighters can match. But the truly revolutionary aspect of MiG-31 operations is how they work together. Soviet planners envisioned these aircraft operating in coordinated groups, sharing radar data through data links. One MiG-31 could guide missiles launched by another aircraft, creating an aerial network decades before such concepts became common in Western forces. This networked combat capability, combined with extreme speed and powerful sensors, made the MiG-31 possibly the most capable interceptor ever built. The strategic role that justified the expense. Building an aircraft like the MiG-31 required enormous resources. Soviet planners had to justify why they needed such an expensive, specialized interceptor when simpler fighters cost far less. The answer lay in geography and strategic reality. The Soviet Union, and now Russia, spans 11 time zones across the largest landmass on Earth. Defending such vast territory against high-speed threats requires interceptors that can cover enormous distances quickly. The MiG-31 can patrol sectors measuring hundreds of miles while maintaining the speed to respond to threats anywhere within that zone. Consider a typical mission profile. A MiG-31 takes off from a base in central Russia and accelerates to Mach 2 plus cruising speed. At this velocity, it can reach potential intercept points faster than any other operational fighter. The combination of speed, range, and powerful radar means a relatively small number of MiG-31s can provide air defense coverage that would require dozens of conventional fighters. This efficiency becomes even more impressive when you consider the MiG-31's ferry range. With external fuel tanks, these aircraft can fly over 1,800 miles without refueling. That's roughly the distance from London to Moscow. Combined with in-flight refueling capabilities, MiG-31s can essentially patrol anywhere their commanders need them, modern upgrades that keep the Foxhound relevant. You might wonder how an aircraft designed in the 1970s remains operationally viable in 2025. The answer lies in continuous modernization programs that have transformed the MiG-31 into something far more capable than the original design. The MiG-31 BM upgrade program, launched in the early 2000s, completely overhauled the aircraft's avionics and weapons systems. New multifunction displays replaced outdated instruments. Digital flight controls improved handling characteristics. Most importantly, the upgraded Zaslon AM radar can now track aerial targets out to nearly 200 miles while also detecting and engaging ground targets. Modern MiG-31 BMs can carry the Kh-47 Maituk Kinjal hypersonic missile. This weapon transforms the Foxhound from a pure interceptor into a strategic strike platform capable of destroying targets over 1,200 miles away. The combination of the MiG-31's speed and the Kinjal's hypersonic velocity creates a weapon system that can strike with minimal warning time. These upgrades demonstrate something important about aircraft design philosophy. The Soviets built the MiG-31 with enough internal volume and electrical power generation to accommodate future systems. This forward-thinking approach allowed the basic airframe to remain viable even as technology advanced dramatically over 5 decades. Speed versus stealth in modern combat. The MiG-31's focus on extreme speed represents a fundamentally different approach to air combat than Western emphasis on stealth technology. Modern American fighters like the F-22 and F-35 sacrifice some raw speed for radar invisibility. The MiG-31 takes the opposite approach, relying on speed and sensor range to compensate for a larger radar signature. Which philosophy is correct? The honest answer is that both have merit depending on the mission. Stealth fighters excel at penetrating defended airspace and achieving surprise. Speed demons like the MiG-31 dominate in the interceptor role where rapid response to threats matters more than invisibility. There's also a practical consideration. Stealth technology requires extensive maintenance and careful handling to preserve radar-absorbing coatings. The MiG-31 was designed for operations from rough, remote airfields with minimal ground support. Soviet engineers prioritized reliability and ease of maintenance over technological sophistication in many systems. This design philosophy reflects different operational requirements. American fighters typically operate from well-equipped bases with extensive support infrastructure. Russian fighters must function effectively even when forward deployed to austere locations. The MiG-31's rugged construction and straightforward maintenance procedures suit this operational reality perfectly. The comparison that reveals American respect. The United States has never built a direct equivalent to the MiG-31. The closest American aircraft was the F-14 Tomcat, which shared some mission similarities but approached the interceptor role differently. The F-14 emphasized maneuverability and carrier operations, while the MiG-31 focused purely on speed and climb performance. This difference reveals something interesting about how the two superpowers viewed air combat. American strategists assumed future battles would involve close-range dogfighting, requiring agile fighters. Soviet planners believed speed and long-range missiles would dominate, making maneuverability less critical for interceptors. Recent developments suggest the Soviet approach may have been prescient. Modern air-to-air combat increasingly happens at beyond visual range, where sensors and missiles matter more than turning performance. The MiG-31's design philosophy emphasized these capabilities decades before they became universally recognized as crucial. American military analysts have consistently rated the MiG-31 as one of the most capable interceptors ever built. Despite being designed by an adversary, there's genuine respect for the engineering achievement it represents. Creating an aircraft that can sustain Mach 2 plus speeds while carrying heavy weapons and operating sophisticated sensors required solving problems that remain challenging even with modern technology. The future of the Foxhound fleet. Russia continues operating MiG-31s and shows no signs of retiring them anytime soon. Ongoing upgrade programs suggest these aircraft will remain in service well into the 2030s, giving the design a service life exceeding 60 years. That's extraordinary longevity for any military aircraft, let alone one designed for such extreme performance. There's speculation about potential replacement programs. Russia has discussed developing new interceptors, but budget constraints and competing priorities have slowed progress. The MiG-31 remains effective enough that replacing it doesn't appear urgent despite the aircraft's age. Some analysts suggest Russia might develop an unmanned interceptor using lessons learned from MiG-31 operations. Removing the pilot would eliminate weight associated with life support systems and allow for even more extreme performance. The concept remains theoretical, but it demonstrates how the MiG-31's operational experience continues influencing Russian aerospace thinking. Lessons for aviation enthusiasts. The MiG-31 Foxhound teaches us several important lessons about aircraft design and military strategy. First, sustained performance often matters more than peak performance. An aircraft that can maintain high speeds for extended periods proves more useful than one that reaches higher velocities but only briefly. Second, mission-specific designs can outperform multi-role compromises in their intended role. The MiG-31 was built to do one thing exceptionally well: intercept high-speed targets across vast distances. By focusing on this mission, Soviet designers created an aircraft that remains unmatched in its specialty. Third, smart upgrades can extend aircraft viability far beyond original expectations. The basic MiG-31 airframe has accommodated weapons and sensors that didn't exist when the aircraft was designed. This adaptability stems from intentional design choices that prioritized future growth potential. Finally, different operational requirements drive different design solutions. The MiG-31 makes sense for Russia's geographic and strategic situation, even if it wouldn't be the optimal choice for other air forces. Understanding why various nations select particular aircraft reveals as much about strategy as it does about technology, the speed legacy that endures. The MiG-31 Foxhound stands as proof that Soviet aerospace engineering achieved genuine excellence in certain areas. This aircraft's sustained speed capabilities remain unmatched by any operational fighter designed in the decades since. Modern fighters might be more sophisticated, more versatile, or harder to detect, but none can match the MiG-31's ability to simply go incredibly fast and maintain that speed across all altitudes and conditions. For aviation enthusiasts, the MiG-31 represents something special. It's a reminder that different approaches to similar problems can yield radically different but equally valid solutions. The aircraft embodies a design philosophy that prioritized raw performance and operational simplicity over technological sophistication. As we watch the few remaining MiG-31s continue their service, we're witnessing the end of an era. Future fighters will almost certainly emphasize stealth, networking, and unmanned operations over pure speed. The MiG-31 may be the last of its kind, the final chapter in the story of manned interceptors designed to fly faster than anything else in the sky. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into one of aviation's most remarkable speed machines. If you found this exploration of the MiG-31 Foxhound valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing for more military aviation content. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts on whether speed or stealth matters more in modern air combat. We love hearing from viewers who appreciate engineering excellence and military aviation history.